Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fanfiction Theater. I'm hoping that we can hear everyone tonight on separate channels where they're supposed to be. I'm Tristan from QuipTracks. And with me, what? No audio?
I don't think so.
Are you sure? Because I'm getting bars.
Okay.
Can anybody hear us on Twitch? Bars.
Oh, no.
I can hear you on Twitch.
Yeah, it's fine. You're crazy. It's because it's on Bluetooth and you're not wearing your Bluetooth.
And you know what? Go ahead.
Okay. I am Tristan from QuipTracks. With me is Tracy from QuipTracks.
Hello.
And I think that's Lillian, maybe,
Woo!
in the background.
That's Lillian from the future of Drawback Productions.
Okay.
Aww.
And
She will liquidate it.
You're hearing the voice of Drew from Drawback Productions.
Oh,
I
no.
still have this freaking beard tumor, man. I thought I had it under control. It's busting out all over.
Lives on there.
Who else do we have? We got Quinn,
Yes, I am here.
and we got Michael.
Michael.
Okay. And when we've got Kevin. I don't know. He seems to be muted, but he's here.
You didn't hear that whole speech?
Sorry. Okay, we're probably starting off with Ultimate Betrayal tonight. So let me get my two readers. Okay, good. Michael's already up there. And...
Oh, is it? If we're starting with Ultimate Betrayal, though, you probably don't want me up there, do you?
Damn it!
But hi, everybody. I believe we were ready for chapter 23. 23,
Yeah.
10 months ago?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just as a warning before we start, this one is the longest chapter. I think it might be longer than the last two put together. So
Wow.
strap yourselves in.
Is it now that the long overdue fight between Spider-Man and Venom finally continues?
No, sadly not.
More pillar tossing.
Okay. Chapter XXIII. 10 months ago. The
The eyes are pillars.
The cool air from outside helped ease the tension headache Ash was feeling from the constant thup-thup-thup of the helicopter rotors twirling above them. He held on to the strap by the open cargo door, preparing to jump out once they were close enough. This abandoned Pokemon training center at the edge of the Silverhood region would be their first real engagement against a foe, at least that was the plan. Okay. It's a foe because they don't know what foe in particular they're facing here.
Sure.
Okay. or just against any foe. Like, this would be their first real engagement against
Hopefully
a
it's a
foe.
real foe and not a faux foe.
They've had other engagements, but they were more social in nature.
Right.
It could all be a load of bullshit as far as Ash knew. The sun peeked shyly over the mountains, lending an orange blush across the terrain.
You see, Tristan, the path between the reader and the audience, or the writer and the audience, is a 2-lane road, right? And
I see.
so I'm meeting you halfway.
Ash glanced behind him at his team. They all huddled in their seats, except Damien, who was somehow sleeping through the ride. His snores were thankfully drowned out. On either side of him sat Brock, who seemed to have gotten used to only having one eye, but Ash could never square the eye-patched face with that of the goofy kid he'd traveled with for so long. And Tyler, whose gaze was drawn inward so far he seemed barely aware of his surroundings.
Just a quick check. It looks like Tracy bopped on. Tracy, can we hear you?
I don't know.
We can. Yay!
You seem to be on.
Yeah.
It's just having technical difficulties, and I've now given up on using the green screen for now.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Opposite them sat Dawn, Misty, and Jade. Jade was along.
Gotta know where people are sitting.
Yeah, Jade was along as their reconnaissance specialist. She was to carry a motion detector. She had to hold on to the chest straps as if they were the links on a parachute. Ash couldn't help but smile slightly. Near the front of the copter sat the emerald-haired trainer, Drew. Drew was watching Ash intently, waiting on his signal. They were all bedecked in pea-green military-style vests. Ammo filled the pockets, along with Pokeballs. Don't mix them up. Not that the latter would do Ash any good. His Pokemon still refused to come out. Still, they'd all been training with the Sig Sauers and had gotten decent, if not great, with them. Dawn preferred the larger P90 submachine gun. And who knew what all Brock had in that giant, dirty blue backpack he lumbered around with? The ground was nearly close enough to jump out now. Ash tensed his muscles. He heard a click in his ear, and Mr. Davis's voice came through clearly.
Good luck, Agent Ketchum. We'll be waiting outside for evac once the threat is terminated.
Spitfire says anime filled their pockets. It wasn't as if the enmity that existed between Ash's team and the Betrayers had disappeared. It was just that after that final day in the stadium, everything shifted. The world was both vastly, infinitely larger now, yet somehow also tinier and more claustrophobic. They all felt it. None of them really knew how to react. Ash got the sense that Misty and Dawn both would forgive him for that day, but what was there to forgive? He'd been teaching them one final lesson after all the preceding lessons at the tournament. It's just that the lesson had gotten out of hand. Or had it.
What? Oh,
It
obviously...
I think I got whiplash.
Getting whiplash here.
It obviously wasn't what Ash had intended. But if he had known that his actions would cause that reaction, would he have still gone through with it? He still had Jade, and he assumed his Pokemon would come out when they were good and ready, so really, was he worse off than he might have been otherwise? And if the tournament had just ended, what sort of life would he have had for himself? Would he and his team just sit around watching the video highlights they'd recorded from that wonderful experience for the rest of their lives, sparring in Pokemon matches until they either eventually died or created meaningless
Internecine.
internecine? Okay.
Yeah, or internecine.
Or created meaningless internecine conflict between themselves? This way, Ash's life had real purpose again. He wasn't sure he trusted the necromancers completely, but he'd play along for now, lead his team, see how much of a scam the entire setup was.
Bitfire says Nomic.
Yeah.
So, by the way, it's speaking about like having a previously on, it seems like we're mostly just kind of the usual fans tonight, so I don't think it's necessarily worth going into a bigger thing. But it's weird how this is set up because it's like now we're kind of getting closer to the Ash from the original story, right? As you know, it's like it's weird because this has felt like such a different thing, but now we're getting all the way back to where hopefully he feels a little more like Ash from the original story. So.
Right, like the Ash who stared out the window wondering if he could hurt another person without
That's
remorse.
true. Spitfire says this whole story is previously on, and that's true. Yeah.
Except I don't remember all this.
I guess if we were to recap...
Okay, go ahead.
If we were to recap, it would really be in the future on...
Well,
given the structure.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Spitfire is meaning because this is 10 months ago. So this is
Yeah.
that's yeah. Okay, this is a fucking bug hunt.
Damien yelled, breaking the eerie silence of the half-lit training center.
A fug hunt.
He threw a can of something down the aisle. Everyone stood stock still as the can caromed off the shelf. That's a reference to the flicking game. Is that right?
The slicking game is named after caraming.
Oh my god.
Caraming is bouncing off something.
I don't know what the
Wow.
flicking game is, but sure.
It's
The
called
flicking
carom,
game.
and it's a game where you bounce things off of other things. So.
Did it help when I said the flicking game? Did that clue it in?
What
The sing-songy
what-
voice helped.
What are you
yeah.
flicking? Like cans or
It's like
Little
a,
rings.
I'll tell you when you're
Yeah.
older.
Look up just look up carom board while you're waiting.
got it. Okay.
everyone stood stock still as the can caromed off the shelves, then slow rolled its way into a wall.
Oh, does
Who was Dawn?
nobody? Nobody's been Dawn.
Okay. Do you
Would
want-
anyone like to be Dawn?
I mean, you're
If
already.
she dies in this chapter, it's perfect. So.
Yeah, okay. No, all right, I'll take her. All right. Stop it, you psycho!
Dawn Burlitz whined, her eyes darting around as if they were already surrounded by zombies or whatever.
Psycho.
Sorry, you got cut off a little bit there. Can you do that again?
Psycho.
Damien popped his eyes wide and made his face into one of sneering contempt. His blue hair bounced as he jumped the counter behind which he stood and started stalking towards Dawn.
You want to see Psycho, girlie?
We are lacking Tracy.
Oh, we are?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Shut
it's a
it.
good time for a correction. Caraming comes from pool, and then it was named the carom board.
Ah.
Weird.
Pool like
And
polo
then it became the
pool?
flicking game.
Then it's
Or
the
like-
flicking game. There's
Pool,
another
like-
flicking game, but we can't talk about it.
Right, right.
I know
like
all
tabletop pool.
there is to know about the flicking.
Shut it, both of you. Let's get on with the story. Where Ash says, shut it, both of you.
That's you.
Ash gave Damien a look. Damien smiled at him.
I was just joking, boss.
He said, then arched an eyebrow at Dawn and made a kissing noise with his mouth. I'm glad it was with his mouth.
Yeah. How the heck did he make that kissing noise?
Oh, he used his mouth.
You're Jade. You're Ash too.
I know.
Okay.
Jade? Ash asked, ignoring Damien as much as possible. Target? Jade was standing behind everyone else, slowly moving the small metal box around in gentle sweeps.
If
Spitfire
I'm
says he
reading,
does Kegels.
if I'm reading this right,
She said quietly, looked up at her father.
I think we need to go down.
Damien and Brock both gave out small snorts. Damien was close enough to Dawn that he gave her a little tap on the shoulder.
You first, eh?
She swatted his hand away.
Ew.
She readjusted her grip on the P90, gave him a disgusted look, and walked away. Damien shrugged innocently and began following her.
I don't mind going first, then.
The daylight outside quickly became a non-issue as they descended deeper into the training center. Tyler took point and eventually found some light switches near the very bottom of the stairs. When he flipped them on, and once everyone had made their way down the echoing steps, they saw what appeared to be a disused Pokemon tournament area. It made sense. After Ash had taken over the Silverhood region, he'd made his mountain retreat into the tournament area, so this place had just shut down out of redundancy. Strange that he'd never come here, even to glance over the place. Jade?
I'm still seeing down.
All right, stay by the stairs, honey. Everyone, spread out. Let's find a way down.
They moved out, gathering in small groups divided by sex, except for Ash, who kept an eye on everyone from an area between them and Jade.
So why are we here again?
Damien shouted as they moved around, checking behind baskets of towels and spare Pokeballs. We're missing our Misty as well.
Someone take Misty.
Yeah.
Maybe Kevin should be Misty since there's no Vampire Jamal at this point.
Oh.
Okay. Where is it? Oh.
Didn't you read?
Read the mission report?
Misty asked snobbishly from the other side of the room, getting ready to open a door while Dawn covered it with her enormous gun.
Well, I meant to,
Damien shot back.
but I've got so many seasons of The Bachelorette to catch up on that I missed while in prison. I had to finish season 12.
They don't let people in prison watch The Bachelorette? That is cruel.
Not in the Pokemon world, no.
It's as a punishment.
Actually, having them watch The Bachelorette would be cruel and unusual punishment.
It would be.
Yeah.
One thing I don't
Misha
like
says-
about Jimmy Kimmel, he's always talking about The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. It's like,
Sorry.
shut up.
Okay.
Misha said there's no substitute for Jesse, though Kevin is clearly doing his best.
We could all just close our eyes and pretend that Misty is actually Mr. Bill. Yeah.
Inside the first door Misty opened was a collection of first aid kits, small stretchers for the Pokemon, things like that. They closed it and moved on.
Season 12 was good.
Dawn muttered. Damien shouted,
Something about reptiles attacking local livestock? I did glance at it during the commercials.
"Oh, okay. Commercials?" Tyler asked.
Tyler.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my squeaky voice guy.
Oh,
What, did you set a VCR before you went to prison?
No, I've only got the medium level Hulu, so I still get ads.
Amphibians.
Brock cut in.
Amphibians. Okay, great. Not reptiles.
I just realized. Okay. Amphibians, reptiles, what's the difference?
Damien sneered. The spiky-haired duelist scoffed.
Is that me? Am I the
Yeah.
spiky-haired duelist?
That's you.
Are we sure
I
it's
should have.
not
I
Yugi
should have
Noto?
studied my character.
I'm not sure spiky haired.
Technically one of many, but in this case it is you.
Sure.
Yeah. One belongs to class Amphibia. One belongs to class Reptilica. Duh.
On the other side of the room, Dawn and Misty approached another door. Dawn lifted the gun again.
You've got medium level Hulu? My room has the premium Hulu.
Those rat bastards. I knew they were giving me the short bus treatment.
Did you even take biology?
I think this is Brock cutting in.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wait. Oh, wait. Did you even take biology? That was me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I tried to be very Faulknerian with this segment and just write it so that the dialogue informed who was speaking. And
I need more
obviously
of
didn't.
like
Oh, just
the
write a
charcoal
screenplay
hair
so we
trainer
can make fun of
said,
it
the
easier.
raven haired trainer said,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chestnut haired trainer said.
Look, I've got
Oh, and
bigger-
adverbs for everyone, please. So I know how to read it.
Nomic has a G in front of it, Misha. God damn it.
You should learn the nomenclature.
I'm sorry. Tristan has to go now.
Or be crowned our king. That's
Like
all.
it. I liked it.
I did too. Look, I've got bigger
Am I supposed
concerns
to
than
say something?
No,
Oh, okay,
no,
sorry.
you're good.
Look, I've got bigger concerns than biology. Poor JoJo almost got screwed over.
Dawn gasped and turned toward the boys.
Chad is such a cad.
Simultaneously, three things happened. Misty made an eep noise. Damien chuckled slightly while asking,
Cad.
with disbelief, and a cavalcade of basketballs fell out of the closet Misty had just opened. One of them bounced up and hit Dawn in the back of the head. It pushed the cap on her head down, and she shrieked, turning around and raising her gun. Misty pushed the gun's barrel away from her, which caused Dawn to pull the trigger. A short burst hit the wall, brick and dust spewing everywhere.
Cease fire!
Ash shouted. There was a stillness except for a couple of the balls slowly rolling across the floor. Most of them were flat by now, though. Ash guessed some of the locals probably used the tournament floor as a makeshift gym.
Everyone, over here!
Ash called out, and they slowly formed up in front of him.
I don't think there's any way down from here, boss.
Damien drawled. Ash's head throbbed dully.
Hold on. Why does he have to call me boss?
The blood running through his head was so loud he could hear it externally, like the slow rippling of a river far away.
Off the walls.
Yeah,
He listened with his exoskeleton.
What exactly is your device measuring, Jade?
Ash asked.
Just movement, I think. Like, it's not specifically looking for monsters or whatever.
Yeah, Drew, do you want to be Drew?
Sure. Oh, jeez.
Drew said, relief washing over him.
So that's probably just picking up like worms or whatever crawling around in the ground.
Rolling around.
I made a choice.
Yeah.
It was a big swing.
Yeah. You got to differentiate it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't want to
Misty
mix
kept-
him up with the spiky-haired duelist.
Yeah. Misty kept glancing over to the side. Ash would have dismissed the motions, but she kept glancing to the very place Ash was hearing the blood flow coming from, which didn't make any sense, did it? Jade tilted her machine a little.
I mean, maybe.
Her brows furrowed.
I don't know what it means, but the blips are moving up now over there.
She pointed, and of course, it was at the same spot whence Ash had been hearing the river of blood, and where Misty was glancing. And it was the spot on the wall where Dawn had blasted it, and Ash realized there was a thin stream of water coming out of the wall now.
You must have hit a water pipe.
Damien muttered.
What's that?
A small brown globule of flesh that Ash assumed must be a hand of some sort came up and through the hole in the wall. It said, "Paper,
I'm sort of
please." Everyone spread out slightly, staying in a tight attack formation but moving to get between the hole in the wall and Jade. Separating each syllable as if in slow motion, Tyler muttered, "Amphibian." The wall exploded in several places as large humanoids burst through, letting out inhuman squalls. Ash reflexively raised his gun and began firing at one nearest him. Behind him, he heard Jade scream. He glanced back, but she was fine, just reacting. Dawn had pulled her P90 up, loosing large choom sounds as it emptied into one, taking a chunk out of its core. It continued lumbering forward. The
I
others...
didn't know P90s had a choom attachment. That's kind of interesting.
I should have read ahead and gotten these like specific sounds for the soundboard, but That would have ruined the mystery, I guess.
Misha's going to send you a note about that now.
The others fell back
You wanted
slightly.
to take the journey with us.
Spitfire says she tuned all over the place.
Actually, yeah, hold on. I can at least start the script that allows me to... I can at least do an explosion here. That came out of the TV.
Oh, can you?
That's...
Really?
Hold on.
So are you saying you heard it externally?
I did, you know? I understand now.
You all laughed at me.
Okay, let me just set up an audio repeater real quick so that... oh, shit, I don't know if that's going to work. Stereo mix to... yes, I don't have a way for you in Discord to hear it yet, but everybody on the stream should hear a loud explosion. I'm going to lower the volume on that because that's probably way too loud. Okay. Where were we? We were to the large tomb. The others fell back slightly, making enough room so that they could throw down their Pokeballs. Yes, good. Multi-dimensional invulnerability and all that. Ash found his eyes.
Explosions are known for not being too loud.
Yeah.
And Misha said that was the perfect sound effects volume. So
Okay. Well, good. I'll put it back then. Next. Speakers start. Okay. Now I can hear it.
Getting some mixed messages from the crowd here. This is.
Let's try something else. Is that a good laser level?
Eye test.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that was way too loud for the laughter. So I'll. How do you hear a laser level externally? Spitfire. Ash found his eyes wanting to skitter away from the creatures. Oh no. It's it's that scene in oh shit. No.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The Tom Cruise chasing his eyeballs down the stairs. You know the one.
Huh?
That doesn't ring a bell at all.
In
Is it
Minority Report.
Is this the
Minority
next
Report.
Minority Report.
Yeah.
That's the only Tom Cruise movie I can think of where he was playing with eyeballs. So.
Yeah. Ash found his eyes wanting to skitter away from the creatures.
Like in Minority Report.
Their innate unnaturalness hurt his brain when he tried to make sense of them. They were amber at the ends of the flaring fins, placed seemingly randomly around their body, but overall disgusting shit brown. Their eyes were large insectile ovals that nictated vertically. They seemed moist all over. Seahorses.
This is Ash thinking. If you want to play with your reverb.
Okay, that's what the
Yeah.
what the italics mean. So they seemed
Moist.
all over.
No, that was just
Seahorses.
There you go.
The fins flare out like on seahorses.
I assume he means horsies.
Yes.
Yes. Seahorses don't exist in the Pokemon.
Seahorses are a myth, Michael.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. There are some things.
Ash can like go down to his local store and buy an anime filled with weird animals like seahorses and jellyfish. What the hell are
And
those?
sharks. And sharks.
Ew. Yeah, those aren't
Right.
released yet though. Yeah.
Right, sharks. That's another non-Pokemon.
Yeah.
So they have sharks?
Sharpedos, I think you mean.
Sharks. Yeah, Sharpedos are real, but sharks aren't real. And I made a analogy to a shark earlier.
But we've all moved on.
Oh, we remember.
Yeah,
The
no, we're
Pokeballs
never gonna
hit.
forget.
The Pokeballs
I
hit,
don't remember
and
how Brock lost
Pokemon
his eye, but
Anyway, I was
exploded out. Brock threw out a Chansey straight into the dump. This one's gone bad. While Tyler tossed a Dragonite. Everything was happening so quickly, Ash didn't see who else entered the field. The tournament ring had turned into a deadly battleground. Ash kept firing at the one approaching him. The gun did little but annoy the creature, but Ash kept moving slowly, changing his aim, seeking a weak point. Brock's Chansey began to sing, attempting to pacify the creatures. So far, no luck, but perhaps if given time. Tyler's Dragonite ran up to one of the monsters and executed a perfect fire punch, causing the creature to scream even louder than the others, opening its shark-like maw wide, then bringing its mouth
Down on the Dragonite's shoulder, taking a huge, meaty bite out of it.
The Dragonite began to squeal, futilely flapping its tiny wings in an attempt to get away.
Not a seahorse.
Ash thought crazily.
A teeth horse.
Sorry, I had to give that a laugh track. What were you saying?
Spitfire said, "Uh-oh, more shark talk."
Yeah.
Is this your OC, the teeth horse?
Oh,
This is your Pokemon?
Your original Pokemon, yeah.
We need fan art of the teeth horse, please.
Ash knew Tyler should try to recall the injured dragon type, but Tyler was in a state of shock, eyes open wide. His mouth kept making sounds, but nothing intelligible. Behind him, Ash sensed more than saw the Chansey get taken down by another of the creatures. The Chansey's guts spilled out on the floor. Yikes. Now we need fan art of Chansey's guts, because I have no idea what that would look like.
I imagine if you hit a Chansey, though, it would just do that thing like those dolls where they just whoop, whoop, and they just come up like the
a
clowns.
Weeble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can never fall down.
Chansey is based on eggs, so presumably it's got a nice
Yeah, like a
yolk.
big yolk. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Floor is
fry up a
slippery
couple
with
Chanseys for
Chansey yolk.
Oh,
Just
does that mean
soupy.
they're hard and cold when you touch them? Never mind.
I don't know. Or maybe they're like soft boiled eggs.
Ew, that is one of their moves. Gross.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
Ash moved, working on autopilot. He glanced back and motioned for Jade to go up the stairs. She did quickly. Ash popped the magazine out of his gun and replaced it, slide locking the first new bullet into place. He continued moving. Everything seemed to be happening in slow motion. Somehow, he was right next to Dawn, who continued sending out slow, furious barrages against the creatures. She was now aiming for the legs. If she hit them just right, they would topple over, no longer presenting immediate danger.
They knew!
Dawn shouted at him.
Huh?
Ash had no idea what she might be talking about.
Somehow your Pokemon knew! That's why they're not coming out! They realized that everything what happened at the stadium that day changed everything! Nothing in the universe works right anymore!
Of course, she had to be correct. The only other option was that the necromancers had lied to them about Pokemon having multidimensional invulnerability, and Ash sensed they weren't being 100% forthcoming about many things. But what purpose would that lie serve? They could have killed this group anytime they wanted, so why would they prolong their lives for months just to throw them away now?
You're right.
I'm so scared!
Dawn said, glancing at him and yelling between shots.
But it's exhilarating!
I like the energy.
Just keep shooting.
Ash yelled. Ash had lost sight of both Drock and Brew. Yeah.
Is that their ship name?
Yeah.
Broth, Drock, and Brew.
I mean, it works just as well, right?
Yeah. Tyler threw down the Pokeball in his hand and let out a hopeless scream. He ran directly at the teeth horse.
Wait. I'm waiting for the hopeless scream. Come on.
Also, Spitfire says Drock and Brew is a new beer label. It does kind of sound like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Tyler let out a hopeless scream. Ah! He ran directly at the teeth horse,
Not a teeth horse, that's stupid.
leaping at the last minute and wrapping his legs around the creature. He punched down directly into one of its huge eyes, still screaming. Ah! The eye collapsed beneath his fist, covering his right hand in goo. The monster, who had suffered immensely from the fire punch, and now this detrimental fist fight, began to collapse. Tyler jumped back from it, shaking his hand as if it were covered with burnt molasses.
Spitfire says teeth horse. We're gonna need a bigger brush.
Burnt molasses?
Yeah.
It's sticky. It's very sticky.
And hot, I assume.
It's tough to to shake off.
Does it have to be burnt?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess molasses.
Well, yeah, of course it's
for the analogy, for the simile to work, or for the comparison to work. Yes.
Oh my god.
What? Because it's
like
hot?
Okay.
I guess
Because molasses is
burn.
always
No, never-
sticky. Okay.
Never mind. That didn't make
Have
any
you
sense.
ever burnt molasses?
I'm not.
Y'all, let's
It was
this
the
should-
it seems like it's a
exact
personal
consistency
story,
of
but-
burnt molasses.
let's just leave this as burnt molasses under the bridge, okay?
Spitfire says all of Michael's metaphors come from the Great Depression. Fairly accurate.
I'm crying. I'm not crying. You're crying.
And what's
Don.
wrong with that, damn it?
Dawn shouted at Ash again.
I was wrong, Ash. You're a great trainer. You're gonna be a great leader to this group.
Brock came out of the shadows, shrugging his blue backpack off of what appeared to be a giant metal box. Ash glanced down.
What?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Author, could you enlighten us, please?
So he's shrugging it off. I assumed it was on his back, but he's shrugging it. He's just like shrugging at it while it's sitting on top of a giant metal box.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's supposed to read shrugging his blue backpack off and removing what appeared to be a giant metal box.
Okay.
Took me
I
a
thought
minute
some words
too.
were
A
missing.
lot to unpack in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're putting a lot of work on that one preposition there, buddy.
Ash glanced at Dawn, who was so close now, and her face swam into extreme focus as she cried out.
Misty and I have talked about it. We'll follow.
And that's when her face exploded, instantly turning.
I got the character who
know.
says a thing and dies.
I know.
Yes.
Instantly turning from a smiling young woman into a high-speed balloon full of blood.
Woo!
There's a high-speed balloon. Is that like
Well-
what they fly in the Mummy too?
Yes, yes.
Well, like
Got
a
little rockets on the
normal
side.
balloon, right? and then imagine it.
Yeah.
Oh, like
Traveling at
deflating
high
around
speed.
the room, spewing blood?
Her face is flying around the room.
Can I change my fan art request to that?
Spitfire Says the Boys, season 1, episode 1, and it's very very reminiscent of that. But yeah, I would have seen it now for sure. Yeah.
It splattered so quickly, at such high speed, and so
we're not done with this
unidirectionally
image yet. God.
that Ash wasn't struck by a single stray drop.
He was drenched by millions of them.
He glanced over and saw a new creature that had entered behind the others. It was slightly shorter, squatter, and its hand was glowing.
They brought a fucking wizard?
Like a high-speed balloon filled with light.
His hand is more like a low-speed balloon.
Low speed, that's the low speed balloon.
Like red hot molasses. Damien yelled before firing a hail of bullets toward it. The slimy sorcerer seahorse looked at Ash, and he could swear it winked at him, smiling slightly. Brock slung one part of his contraption over a shoulder, then balanced it on his hip and positioned himself at the end of the line of creatures. He pushed a couple of buttons, and a gout of flame shot out, instantly engulfing every single teeth horse.
Stop!
In a fiery holocaust. Brock's one eye squinted, and his face looked completely impassive.
Spitfire says the slimy sorcerer seahorse is my favorite beachside dive bar.
Yeah.
I sure took those amphibians and turned them into amphibiouts.
Yeah.
She sells slimy sorcerer seahorses by the seashore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For lines like that, we need the Who from the opening of CSI.
Yeah. That's another. I need to write all these down for the soundboard.
You gotta start taking notes there, Tristan.
By the way, one note for you, Michael. You don't really need to say that Brock's one eye squinted. Just the fact that he has an eye implies that he's...
Brock is literally in a constant state of squint.
Well, both of those are true, yes.
All the remaining amoral amphibians... Okay, now you're just reaching. Burned.
Starting to sound like the old Batman. Will they conquer the amoral amphibians?
All the remaining amoral amphibians burned, quickly melting into a gloopy brown mass.
Resembling a sort of molasses, maybe room temperature.
Oh.
A taffy, perhaps. When Brock turned off the flamethrower, the room turned deadly silent, except for the slight susurrus. Wow. All right. Except for the slight susurrus of flowing water and the gentle popping of meat burnt beyond all recognition sliding over itself.
Hope y'all brought your thesaurus tonight.
Her brain is a haunted dictionary.
From the 1930s.
Yeah, like these words are ghosts from the past.
My brain is a haunted dictionary falling out of a skyscraper in 1929.
There it is. Mood.
Ash fell onto a knee, his gun almost falling from his weakened grip. He stared at the lifeless body of Dawn Berlitz. Her skin was perfectly clear, right up to her neck where it ended. Dawn Berlitz, who trusted him to lead her, and was now dead. Dawn Berlitz, who he'd sicked 1,000 bees on after dropping her in honey. Dawn Berlitz, we're just gonna move past that. Dawn Berlitz, who could have been allergic to bees for all he knew. Dawn Berlitz. Who would never...
If you recall, at the end of the last story, they were plotting, brainstorming about what to do to Dawn. So that's what I made up for them.
Okay, but that wasn't one of their ideas. It was just something that would fit with it. Okay, yeah. But yeah, it's definitely more creative than what that author would have come up with. Adon Berlitz, who would never say another kind word to him again.
Spitfire
Rude
asks,
words, however, would not stop it.
Spitfire says, "Are bees attracted to honey? They're the ones who make it. Look, man."
Oh, there's that stuff we have plenty of.
It worked, okay, and that's.
Right now. I know it doesn't fall out there.
Although I assume they were bee drills.
Yeah, sure.
Or Vespiquens.
Or you mean a
yeah, sure.
combi?
Columbies, Vespiquens.
Oh, there's so many bee Pokemon.
Bee drill's actually more of a wasp.
All right. I'm just kidding.
Ash looked up to see the haunted, yet also strangely relieved faces of Misty, Tyler, Brock, and Damien looking down at him. Tyler kept looking down at his hand miserably. Ash started to speak, and he had to clear his throat before starting again.
Where's Drew?
Misty answered, her voice flat.
He didn't make it. One of them got him.
We'll never hear his Baltimore accent again.
Do we have... I'm hearing Tracy, right? Do we have...
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you want to reclaim your voices, or are you just chilling?
Which is like Ash, right? Oh, and I was Mr.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah, and if Jessie's there, she would have been Misty. But
Wait, who
You
is
really
Mr.
wanna go
We're
back
having
to her?
technical difficulties with the headphones, so she's not
Okay.
on here.
okay, gotcha.
And by technical difficulties, I mean that I failed to charge them.
Oh,
Because I'm a bad man.
oh.
A bad man.
Man.
Okay, where was I?
So
Where's
it's
Tracy?
Ash's line. So Tracy
Okay.
wants-
Yeah, Tracy, go ahead.
What? I didn't even see.
Ash stared at the ground, followed a line painted on the floor over to where it met the wall, then slowly stood up and faced his team again. He steadied himself before speaking.
Let's get the hell out of here.
His headache was gone, and somehow he now found the... Oh, it's a woof woof now.
Oh,
He now found the
different
woof woof
helicopter.
woof of the helicopter
No, it's a
blades, a
W.
gentle...
Dog-based helicopter.
I was just thinking,
Yeah.
it's a W. If it says woof 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 woof.
Helicopter has to pee.
Of the helicopter blades, a gentle, soporific noise.
Soporific, but yeah.
Soporific noise. A sopping wet soporific noise. Like meat sliding over itself.
No.
and a high-speed balloon.
A high-speed balloon filled with molasses.
Let's get this high-speed balloon on the road.
Spitfire asks, which Pokemon is a dog helicopter hybrid?
Dogcopter? You've never seen Dogcopter?
It's a little too obvious. I think it would be like
They've got a dog with a sword, but so far no dogs with a helicopter.
Wolf Spinner, maybe.
No.
I saw last night they actually
Dogcopter
made
is a
Go
real
Dog
character.
Go.
It's just from Steven
show.
Universe. Sorry.
There's probably a dog copter in there.
Okay. Later,
There
the
is.
debrief.
Okay.
Later, they'd figure out what went wrong and what. Later, they'd figure out.
That's the new helicopter. What?
Later, they'd figure out what went wrong and what went right. Later, maybe, he'd even grieve. Not working for you? No.
I think that's like a song lyric I wrote when I was 12.
For now, he simply hugged Jade close to him and went to sleep grateful to still be drawing breath.
Okay, so now for the next section, 2 things. A, does everybody remember the cliffhanger we left on?
No.
Somebody
God.
was like trying to choke out Ash from behind, correct?
Right, with a gun to their head. And now for this, I want to ask if someone else would read Damien, because it's going to be a lot of me arguing with myself if we don't.
Okay.
Okay. What does it look like, idiot? Like that.
I can tell you've been paying close attention to my Damien.
What does it look like, idiot?
I will
What
take.
does it
I'll
look
take
like,
Damien.
Oh, I like the Charlie Nash version I heard.
But this first line in the present is Brock.
Oh, okay. What are you doing?
Brock cried out from behind them. What does it look like, idiot? Damien responded, tightening his death grip around Ash's throat. I'm betraying you all.
Even though
Betray us.
Boy.
I'm fed up with this world.
I'm fed up with this world. Lisa, betray me.
No, who is Makoto?
that's me. Even though
Okay, and we're still calling him Makoto even though it's Byakuya?
right,
Is that
yes.
Still okay. Just so we're clear. Began Makoto Naege, who was actually Byakuya Tagami.
They want to kill all of us.
Yeah. Damien did not get it. Makoto Naege continued in his cool tone. Cool tone, bro.
I believe I have spotted a fault in your reasoning, sir.
It's turning more and more into a butler of some kind.
Go bottle somewhere.
Oh, you and your goddamn logic, the blue-haired trainer said, shuffling around so that now his back was to the cage, and both he and Ash were facing the other members of the Shadow Pokemon Corps. He angled them so that they could also see Misty and her army of water Pokemon, now held up and looking anxious on the field.
Spitfire asks, is he going to ask for some Grey Poupon? Look, everybody's a critic, all right?
Oh, nobody's got any Grey Poupon.
Okay. Also looking anxious, the band Evanescence behind them.
Totally
Great.
forgot that Evanescence.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
The drummer especially looked like he was waiting for a cue to start playing. Makoto Naege sputtered.
Logic is the basis upon which the entire universe is built, sir. Without logic...
Damien gestured upwards. Ash's eyes squinted. He did not want to look up. Oh, this is Damien. Yeah. We tore the universe open, dumbass. Nothing means anything anymore.
All right.
Brock countered.
If nothing means anything, then why are you betraying us? What could they possibly have offered you? Did they say you'd get out of this alive? You have to know they're lying, right?
No, nothing like that. I knew today'd be the end of all of us one way or the other. Damien responded. But I got something better. They gave me the commercial-free Hulu for the past 8 months.
That bastard.
Brock and Makoto Naege both.
Spitfire asks that, or Spitfire says that's where the earlier song lyrics came from. Again, everybody's a critic, all right? It was from the, because it's I waited for you to be done with all the line, but he's talking about because earlier Kitty said something about like, this is a song lyric I wrote when I was 12, and it's like, yes, it was to foreshadow Evanescence coming back.
Okay, but that's like a bare naked ladies line. He goes like, perhaps one day I'll grieve, or I never will.
Perhaps one day I'll grieve, or I never
it's actually in
will.
the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a song lyric.
Oh, wow. All right.
And you wrote that for the
Bare Naked
band
Ladies
Bare
when I
Naked
was
Ladies.
12. So I'm just saying.
And then
I have no idea where we are. Okay, Hulu. Brock and Makoto Niege both blinked. Ash shared a frustrated look with Misty.
But
Brock...
What?
Brock... God damn it.
Brock Burley. Hi. Brock
Brock barely was able to articulate.
I sell insurance.
could have just you could have just come over to my room and watch mine.
Do you mean that? Damien asked.
Will it make you fight for us rather than against us if he says yes?
Makoto Niegi asked hesitantly, pushing his glasses up on his nose.
He still is doing that.
Ash could feel Damien cocking his head and thinking it over. Yeah.
Then yeah.
Can we get that more like the old timey? Yes. The guy from what it was Jack Benny show.
Yeah.
Brock drew it out as if he were debating with an angry Beedrill. Oh, now there's
The
Beedrill.
truth, the author knew. He knew. He knew better.
Damien whipsawed around and dropped to his knees. Ash leapt out of the way. Damien shot right at Mr. Johnson, shattering the left side of his sunglasses. Sorry, Mr. J. He shot the remaining right side of the sunglasses. I got a better offer. Mr. Johnson screamed. His head tilted back and white light flooded out of his destroyed eyes. He screamed, and his voice went down a register mid-sentence. Was that a sentence?
Technically?
Yes, it's a one-word sentence. It's an imperative.
His voice isn't... okay.
All right.
His voice
Mid-word.
continued to fluctuate. Weird titterings heard behind some of the words as he spoke.
How will you ever manage the evil you have summoned now?
Nice.
Perfect. Two of the other necromancers rushed up to his side. One helped him down to the ground as his strange intonations turned to a death rattle.
What the hell? What the hell was that?
Asked Makoto Niagi. The one settling him to the ground responded.
I assume this would be Quinn.
Yeah. Well, in order to fight this thing, he'd made a pact with a demon, a being so powerful it could defeat the incursion. In order to save humanity, he gave everything and allowed his soul to become tainted by that terrible demon.
Oh, such a terrible demon it was.
Oh, he was such a terrible demon.
The necromancer on the other side said in a quick, basso profundo staccato.
Am I just all of the necromancers? Like,
I
are they
Was
all
it
just
an angel?
variations of myself?
Michael, you wrote this line to be in a basso profundo.
Or was it an angel?
Good night, sweet prince.
Said the first necromancer, then quickly stood up and snapped his fingers. The energy cage went away. The necromancer took off his sunglasses and hung his head, beaten.
There's no point. You're free to go. Without the power of that bound evil entity...
Or was it a creature of God?
Pondered the other necromancer.
It doesn't matter anymore. We're all just chum.
He seemed to be getting pretty chummy. I'm sorry. At that moment, Misty's Pokemon arrived and everyone inside the cage and out were drenched in a torrent of water gun attacks.
But the cage disappeared, didn't it?
The Pokemon had their instructions. They followed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they says they
Right,
were
but
inside the cage.
he's saying the cage disappeared.
Oh, everyone inside. Yeah. Well,
So
everyone
formerly
inside the cage is
inside the
bounds.
cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Can we leave it with
impromptu wet t-shirt contest. Woo. What?
I said, can we leave a review?
Can we leave a review?
Yeah, I'm
sure.
just gonna type one sentence.
Fools.
There it is.
There we go.
All right.
No.
No flames!
I did it.
All right. Where are we going from here?
Steve Plank.
Is there a new Steve Blank?
There
No.
is, in fact, a new Steve Plank.
Okay. Then let's keep going with that.
I'm trying to make
Any,
sure I have a new
any-
chapter every week.
Any questions, feedback, any thoughts? That was a fairly intense and long
Well-
chapter there.
Before the show started, I was calling you an edgy teenager, but you really came through and proved that you are, in fact, an edgy teenager. So congratulations, Michael.
Mhm, mhm.
Thank you. Misha asks, was it a demon or an angel? Man, that's up to you to decide. I found it really amusing to think that the necromancers were having their own very involved like 90s anime going on. Like who knows what they're doing, but
Yeah.
yeah, obviously it's much more there's much more to that story that we're just never going to hear because who knows about
Right.
that.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Chapter
So
4.
we are on chapter 4.
Do you
Well,
want to put Michael up since he's
Oh,
narrating now?
Okay. Yeah.
Michael, as you would say, I think your story was aces. It was snazzy. It was keen and it wasn't all wet.
It
Was
was
the bee's
the cat's
knees.
Pajamas.
There we
It
go.
was-
You're a dame with a penthouse on the top floor, I tell you.
You said it.
Acha. All right. Is it me? I want to make.
Yeah,
I can be
it's-
static too. Either way. Should I start?
You're up there now. Yeah.
I had to
Okay,
look up a list. Apparently, Butter and Eggman, that's something you could call someone. Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
Chapter 4, Dalliance. Lying in his bed, Steve stared at the trinket that he'd received from Buttercup's sweet cheeks earlier in the day. He still wasn't entirely sure of what to make of it. He still had trouble understanding her intentions. Normally, she was a cutthroat journalist. She didn't care what lengths she had to go to get the story. There were stories of her bludgeoning her journalist peers with steel folding chairs. They were all reminiscent of the time in 1970. Okay. They were all reminiscent of the time in 1997 that The Undertaker got his revenge on Shawn Michaels, insofar as they all took place during a steel cage bout. She even did that hype thing where she pretends to be unconscious and then sits up with a scary look in her eye. It was money. He couldn't shake the thought, however, that her request for help was sincere. She'd come to him to ask, which could not have been easy for someone as proud as her. Yeah, she had a reputation for being an absolute cutthroat bitch, but at the same time, she was a good journalist. If Buttercup was right, then there was something big going down, and it would take both of them to figure out what to do.
Well, call me a wide-mouthed bass, because I can't breathe above water.
Dolly said, still fast asleep. Steve had grown accustomed to Dolly's sleep talking. In fact, if he didn't have her with him, it was often hard to fall asleep. This was why, in a hidden compartment in a shoe, he kept a recording of what he called Dollyism.
It ain't a corn muffin unless it's buttered with chicken feet.
Now that's
Boy, when you talk like that, I want to go to sleep. It's so soothing.
I mean, that's just common sense too. You know?
Anytime, y'all.
Steve smiled to himself. He knew the readers would chuckle at the ridiculousness of the previous line. The smile then faded like my. So this is kind of God, I don't know. What's it like? The movie of Naked Lunch. It's like where you're writing, like, you kind of are both Steve Plank and the author. His smile then faded like Michael Richards' career as he went, I don't think that faded so much as just
Like fizzled out, exploded. Everyone's a critic, Michael.
Come on, UHF.
His career went down like a high-speed balloon, you know?
UHF.
Seinfeld, I mean, geez. His smile then faded like Michael Richards' career as he went back to gazing at the letter C, which, coincidentally, this chapter was brought to you by. He turned it over and over in his hand. Suddenly, he grasped it tightly, which is the universal sign to audiences that he'd made a decision. Or a discovery. Reaching over to his bedside table, he searched for his phone through the pile of empty syringes that had once contained raspberry jello, a copy of Mongolian throat singing for dummies, and a mixtape that Dolly had made for him composed entirely of songs from the Wiggles' latest albums.
Yes.
Finding it, he pulled up Buttercup's phone number and sent a text that contained only 2 words.
Hey, Buttercup, it's Steve. I just wanted to say thanks for asking me to help you today. After much thought, I've decided to acquiesce to your request. Thank you very much. I hope you had a pleasant evening. Thanks. I'll see you tomorrow. Let me know if you want to meet up again sometime. My availability is pretty open. Just give me a time, and I'll do my best to make it work, Steve.
Author note: I do not share Steve Plank's views on marsupials.
I don't even know where a marsupial was mentioned in there, but I will
There
trust
were no marsupials.
There were no marsupials mentioned.
Marsupials, reptiles, what's the difference?
You gotta butter a model of chicken feet. It's whatever. Just move on.
That chapter was a marsupial desert.
Be on.
Morning, Steve. Did you make a decision on what you wanted to do about Buttercup?
Nibbles inquired as he poured himself a bowl of Fig Newtons. A Nabisco product, Fig Newtons are a pastry consisting of a fig roll and sweet fig fruit paste. Before the late 1800s, most doctors believed that the majority of illnesses were caused by issues in diet and the digestive process. They recommended a diet higher in biscuits and fruit, to which the answer was clear: fig rolls. In 1891, the first Fig Newtons were made at the F.A. Kennedy Steam Bakery in Newton, Massachusetts. Many people believe that Fig Newtons were named after Sir Isaac Newton. Those people are idiots. It's absolutely obvious that they're named after the town in which they were created. It's not like Isaac Newton had a fig fall on him, you fucking fucks. It was an apple. Just because someone has the same name as a product doesn't mean that product is related to them. Very angry. This is mostly due to a false memory, more commonly known as the Mandela effect. Named by Fiona Broome because of her own false memory that Nelson Mandela, former anti-apartheid South African leader, had died in the 80s, the Mandela effect shows up all over pop culture. Obviously, the assumption that Mandela died in the 80s is a prominent example, but here are some others. Many people erroneously believe that the Warner Brothers cartoon property Looney Tunes is spelled with a double O in tune. Sex in the City is often misremembered as Sex in the City. There are some people who swear that there used to be a brand of peanut butter called Jiffy, but are likely creating an unintentional portmanteau of Jif peanut butter and its primary competitor, Skippy. Peanut butter is a spread made from peanuts, go figure, that have been dry roasted and ground into a powder. Many other ingredients are often added to modify the taste and texture of the paste, like salt or sweeteners. Peanuts, and by extension peanut butter, are very nutrient-rich foods. They contain several vitamins and minerals which are necessary for the human body. Typically, it is served on bread, most notably as half of the world-famous peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but it has several other uses. Peanut butter smoothies, crepes with peanut butter, Reese's peanut butter cups, the list goes on.
Not one
Reese's-
mention of George Washington Carver. Come on.
You racist fucking fuck. Reese's peanut butter cups were created in the basement of H.B. Reese, who was formerly a shipping foreman for the Hershey Company. He left his job at Hershey to create his own candy company, H.B. Reese Candy Company. Using Hershey's chocolate in his confections, he made several varieties that were all outcompeted by the peanut butter cup. After his death in 1956, his 6 sons inherited the company. But in 1963, they merged it with the Hershey Company in a tax-free stock for stock merger. There are many products bearing the Reese's name, such as Reese's Pieces, a competitor to the Mars Company's M&M, and Reese's Puffs cereal, which is produced by the General Mills Corporation. General Mills is one of the main brands for food consumed in America today. Several brands.
Tell me you wrote this when you were hungry.
I did write this right before lunch, so maybe.
This is the Wikipedia game, the fan fiction.
Several brands.
This is just him looking on his kitchen counter, like looking through his cupboards and stuff. Like, what else can I talk about?
Several brands in North America are produced by Big G, such as Betty Crocker, Yoplait, Totino's, and Cheerios.
Totino's!
The company is based in Golden Valley, Minnesota, and it was founded when James Ford Bell merged 4 mills into one. The company has deviated into several other areas of development, including aeronautical research, toys, and electronics, but it always comes back to food. A consistent seller for them is the Chex line of cereals, which is made primarily of corn flour. Corn is, despite contrary belief, more appropriately compared to grains than vegetables. It is, however, considered to be a starchy vegetable. I'm really glad you made, however, a post-positive there. Thank you. Corn is a staple food that is produced all over the world, but especially in the United States. Due to its relatively low cost to produce and hardy nature, corn is used in a vast majority of foodstuffs that Americans eat as high fructose corn syrup. Made from cornstarch, it has had a sum of its...
Okay.
That's to turn into Mario there. It has had a sum of its glucose content converted to fructose via enzymes. This is different than the corn syrup you'd buy from the grocery store, which contains 100% glucose, and is, coincidentally, what Nibbles was pouring over his bowl of Fig Newton.
Wow.
Yeah.
Could have also eaten up some space there with the Fig Newton song. Double space, of course.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, I sent her a text last night. We're gonna meet up for lunch today and discuss what our next move should be regarding this chair.
Steve replied as he took the Fig Newtons and corn syrup from Nibbles to make his own breakfast.
We have a... that's not me, is it?
That is
yeah.
you.
We have a lot of work to do. I was hoping that you and Dolly would help us.
Nibbles smiled as he munched on his usual breakfast.
Of course I will, pal. You didn't even have to ask. You know I'm with you through thick and thin. I'm sure Dolly would be in too.
What are y'all saying I'm in for?
Dolly sleepily asked as she walked into the kitchen. She moved over to...
That's exhausted.
She's just always at full volume.
Just always at a 10.
It's Dolly. Hello.
Do you mean hello, Dolly?
Special on.
Oh my God.
Netflix.
Michael has to leave now.
You're welcome. She moved over to the coffee maker. She moved over to the coffee maker, poured a cup of coffee, and then started drinking directly out of the decanter. The chugging of the scalding the chugging of the scalding coffee was a morning routine for Dolly, and one that Steve and Nibbles looked forward to. They began chanting,
Chug, 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 chug.
as she seared her pharynx with the dark elixir of life. As she finished, she did a comically large. Did you say it? It
Yeah.
cut out on me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Before saying,
Hey, Steve, this coffee's better than usual.
Yeah, the store was out of a regular stuff, and so I had to go to a specialty store. That's Death Wish coffee you're drinking, made for people who like strong, full flavor in their morning pick-me-up. Death Wish coffee boasts 54.2 megagrams of caffeine per fluid ounce, which means, given that our coffee maker is roughly 60 ounces, you've drunk enough caffeine to kill the average person.
Steve said.
Wow.
That was milligrams, not megagrams.
It's milligrams.
I say megagrams?
You did.
Well, that's not so dangerous.
Mighty grams.
Wow.
Dangerous as megagrams.
Wow, how informative. Are there other ways to consume Death Wish coffee?
Nibbles chimed in.
I'm glad you asked,
Anally.
Nibbles. Death Wish
Wake the
coffee is
dead.
available
All
in
Bronson
ground
could shoot it into you.
Death Wish coffee is available in ground coffee form, but you are also able to get it in cold brew cans. It's coffee for someone who has a death wish.
I was going to say don't ask Brett Kavanaugh, but Kevin beat me to it. Steve said before turning back to Dolly.
Back to the point, Dolly. I was hoping you'd join Nibbles and me helping Buttercup take down an exposed chair. What do you say?
Dolly thought a moment before answering.
No, I don't think I can do that today, Steve. I got this thing later where me and some other legends of country western music are gonna go see what branching into inner city rap is all about. I just put that there. Well, but I'll let you know when I'm able to help.
She is obviously a secret chair agent,
No worries, Toots.
Steve said.
I'll have my good buddy Nibbles and his continuously ambiguous size to help me handle this shindig.
Checking his watch, he said,
Speaking of, Nibbles, it's about noon. We need to go!
It wasn't actually noon, but Steve knew that I wanted to transition into the next scene since I'm out of ideas and it's starting to show. He's a pretty nice guy.
Author's note: I do in fact share Steve Plank's views on helping me out by furthering the story.
Whoa. If you share Steve Plank's views, you get out of this car right now.
You're a Steve Plank view flip-flopper.
This is Buttercup.
Oh, sorry. She's the secretary?
No,
No.
she's the
she's
right-
like, got it. Good afternoon, Stephenopoulos, Irving Plank. We have much to discuss. Please sit down.
With all the acronyms, what does it mean that his name is SIP?
You know how you like sip a
haven't
chair?
All that
Decided.
talk about coffee.
I'm gonna muse on that, Buttercup said, smiling in a bitchy way. Actually, that's not fair. I'm still just miffed about her stealing Steve's parking spot that one time.
If the narrator will stop interjecting, I'll hand you this file containing all of the information I found about this chair.
You know what? I take back my retraction of my bitchy comment.
Can you give me, and the readers at home, of course, a rundown of what you know?
Steve asked.
Yes, Chair is essentially an evil cult that has made it its mission to rid the world of anyone who stands in the way of their perfect world. They have bases of operation all over the world. That's right, coast to coast, LA to Chicago, Western Mail. Across the north and south to the Key Largo, love for sale.
Okay. Buttercup replied in hushed tones.
Those were hushed tones.
Whoops.
The organization is made up of several cells that operate independently from one another, but they all answer to one man. That man's name is...
Hey, Steve. Long time no see. How you been, buddy?
Said a man standing next to their table. Steve looked over, thinking he'd recognize the voice, but it turned out the man was talking on a Bluetooth headset.
Like I was saying, that man's name is...
Here's a coffee and lumberjack heart disease special. Sorry it took so long. The kitchen is a bit backed up today. My name is Randy. Let me know if you guys need anything else, all right?
Said their server, setting a plate full of bacon, sausage, eggs, cheese, and a tiny tombstone that said R.I.P. Heart in front of Buttercup. She thanked Randy for his service and waited until he had left to continue.
The tombstone was made of butter of it.
Is he gone? Okay. That man's name is...
Steve felt a buzzing in his pocket and held up a finger to let her know that he needed to take this.
Yeah, it's Steve. Hey, Dolly. No. Yes. Yes! No. Okay. I said okay! Yeah. Okay. See you at home.
He hung up his phone and then motioned for Buttercup to continue.
That man's name is...
Buttercup began again. We almost had it timed perfectly. Buttercup began again before being interrupted by Nibbles answering his own cell.
Hey, Dolly. Yeah, I'll tell him. Yep. Ah, that sucks. Okay, I'll.
He was interrupted by Buttercup grabbing the phone and sticking it into the soup carried by a passing waiter.
Buford, pick a feather!
She yelled as the entire coffee shop became silent for a few seconds.
Impossible! Buford is a complete bastard who hates me, but there's no way he'd be the leader of a cult that's striving for world domination.
Steve answered. Then he thought back to his conversation with Buford from the other day.
You know, Steve, I may be a complete bastard who hates you, but given the chance to become the leader of a cult that's striving for world domination, I'd go for it.
Okay, maybe I misjudged him.
Sorry. I'd say so, Mr. Plank. I have the evidence to back me up, too.
Buttercup responded as she leafed through the file she had in front of her. She pulled out a sheet of paper and handed it to Steve.
A memo?
Nibbles asked.
A chair memo, Nibbles.
Buttercup said.
It's
Oh,
subtle.
it deleted.
Oh, no,
no, it
what?
didn't.
Okay.
I thought it deleted.
Just put a weird
Yeah.
character turn in there.
It's subtle, but it proves that Buford Picklefeather is the author. Look at the bottom.
At the bottom of the memo, written in Comic Sans, which is, as everyone knows, is the most sinister of all fonts, were the words, "From the chair, Buford Picklefeather, editor of the Global Weekly and hater of Steve Plank." Steve and Nibbles just looked at each other, but not really just looked at each other, because Nibbles broke the silence.
If Buford is an evil son of a bitch, we need to go get him now, right now.
Nibbles said.
I don't care if we take him to the police or we wait until he's led a long, happy life with his wife and children and old age takes him. Son of a bitch needs to go down, and I'm yelling timber.
I mean, that's very giving of Nibbles.
What Nibbles said, we've got to stop him.
Steve said, his eyes glinting with the suppressed rage that comes from 6 years of being mistreated by your boss, while wanting to slash his tires but chickening out because you know you don't have the guts. A little projecting here, maybe.
It's not that simple, you two. He left for Melbourne this morning, in order to keep him investigating and finally take Chair down. We need to follow him. I was whispering.
Buttercup whispered, leaning closer to the duo.
There's only one problem.
Author's note, I do not share Steve Plank's views on interrupting a colleague while they're communicating important information. Who wants to be the one-line captain?
One line? One line?
I haven't said. I did say. I said one line, but let me.
You want to do it?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are now at cruising altitude, so those of you who neglected to turn off your electronic devices can use them openly. Everyone else, you're pretty fucking lame.
Buford reclined his seat, pulling his Zune out of his pocket. Yeah, they were outdated and essentially a waste of technology, but how many other ways can I get it through your heads that this guy is evil? Setting his Nickelback discography playlist to repeat only the song Must Be Nice, he glanced out the window of the plane. Flying alongside of it was a white pigeon with a little sling on its back carrying a letter. Ignoring the impossible physics of a pigeon managing to keep speed with a 747, he pressed the call button to get the attention of the flight attendant. When the man charged with looking after the coach passengers came over, Buford pointed out the window. Nodding, the flight attendant went to the emergency door, opened it, and fired a net out of a cannon. The net surrounded the pigeon and, thanks to the cable leading back to the cannon, was reeled back in. Shutting the emergency door, the flight attendant checked the envelope the pigeon was carrying.
Buford
Buford.
Picklefeather?
Okay, go ahead.
I did it.
You did it. Congratulations. I
very
hope you're
proud.
happy.
A little bit,
Said-
honestly, yeah.
Said the flight attendant, who clearly was not just a flight attendant, but still such a minor character that he didn't deserve a name.
Sorry.
Wait, who?
Who is?
Oh, wait,
This
that's
is
me.
this is Buford.
Okay.
Oh. Go ahead. Go on.
Yes, I believe that bird is for me. Bring it here, my good man.
When the envelope was brought to him, Buford also took the pigeon. As he opened the letter with one hand, he began to pet the member of the Columbide family.
Good bird, you shall make a tasty dinner on the morrow.
He began to read. Oh, this is Kevin now, right?
Yes.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
I didn't know I
the
had any
master.
voices here. Who am I?
You're the
You're-
master.
The
Yeah.
chair
Oh,
master.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now. My dearest Buford, it has only been a few days since I last spoke with you, but my heart demands that I contact you again. Phase 1 has been accomplished, and we are ready to move on to Phase 2. Our rations have been stockpiled, and our men are waiting for your orders. The flicker of the campfire darts across the page. Sickness has taken many of our men. Dysentery runs through our camp like the product of dysentery. Despite all this, the camp is buzzing with anticipation at our eventual overthrow of all world governments to create our international regime. We know that one day the feet will be sanitized. Your orders are to continue on to our headquarters in Melbourne and establish yourself there. Our men will meet you at the airport. Look for the one with a sign that says, taxi. He'll know where to take you. Sit on it, your master.
Buford crumpled up the letter and gave it to the bird that sat cooing in his lap. It defecated on the paper, which was shortly picked up by the nameless flight attendant.
Crazy old man.
He thought.
I already knew all that. It's like he's doing it for some purely expositional purpose.
End chapter 4.
Some
Yes.
purely expositional purpose sounds like a They Might Be Giants song.
Yeah, a little bit.
Or a band.
Hello,
Red jumpsuit
tattered
apparatus warming up for purely expositional purpose.
Tatterdemalion? Is that a reference I don't get?
It's just a word.
What?
How did Michael get bad, Larry?
Hey, can we? I think that we should do a one shot or start a new story.
Well, yeah, we don't have any other options.
Are we done with Marinara Mysteries?
We
Yeah.
finished a Mirador mystery, yeah.
I don't
One more
even remember
Marinara.
how
Look,
that ended.
I
It
really
ended with
want-
party time.
Oh yeah, you get shot and then party time. Got it.
Yeah,
What
watch
were you
that
saying?
video. That song's actually pretty
Right.
good.
No, but
Well, it's not bad.
well, yes, it is. But
Anyway, we gotta hash this out.
can
What are
we
you
read
saying?
Meeting Donald Trump now that he's gone? Now that he's 6 feet under and he's
Let's
very
keep it that
dead.
way.
What?
I mean, I'm okay with it now. I don't know. I mean, if anybody else wants
It's
to
up
veto it,
to the people in the chat, I guess.
This is Kaiba, Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! Meeting Donald Trump. It's a one shot. There are no more chapters. It's stupid as hell and not a joke.
And also written long ago, 2010. This was written, so
Weird.
Yeah.
and it has a song apparently.
me,
It has 2 songs, unfortunately.
Uh,
They're
Misha-
short.
Okay, we might as well. So
Misha pointed out that Tatterdemalion is actually older than the Depression. It first appeared 1608.
okay, I didn't know that it was your cat, so that was why I was confused.
I thought it was our
Oh.
cat, which is I was like, how did she get over there? I mean, I know she would, but like how?
Yeah, we both have torties.
Marble loaves.
Marble loaves, yeah. Okay, Meeting Donald Trump, a Yu-Gi-Oh! Plus miscellaneous TV shows crossover. Author's note, I guess. Here's a new Yu-Gi-Oh! One-shot I cooked up. Oh boy. I always wonder, haven't you?
All day, every day.
What would happen if Seto Kaiba met Donald Trump? After all, they're both businessmen, you see. Although one is fictional and the other is real.
But which?
Still.
Oh, can I guess which one?
One.
Wait.
Hmm?
Kaiba's a businessman?
Yes. He's
Yeah, he
a
runs
businessman
Kaiba Corp.
He
duelist.
played one on TV.
I thought his dad ran Kaiba Corp.
No, his dad's dead.
Yeah.
Spoilers!
Like Donald
What?
Trump.
Wow.
Okay, sorry, please continue.
Yeah, you're thinking of Gozabro.
Oh my god! I thought I was thinking of Makoto Naegi or Byakuya Togami.
Anyway, I'm trying to write this through Kaiba's eyes, as he's very complex. And writing what he would say is pretty tough. But I do my best when it comes to him.
You were
Anyway.
a third-rate president with a fourth-rate term.
Oh!
Anyway, this is dedicated to all the girls out there who
What?
like Kaiba.
You know who you are, guys.
Raise your hand in the chat. Raise your hand in the chat if you're a girl.
Enjoy, and please leave a review.
Oh, we will.
Okay.
Oh,
Plus,
no, well, yeah.
Plus, send the flames to my email, please.
Straight into my inbox, please.
Oh no. So
Those
you
are
can't
for
just type
personal usage.
it? Oh no.
Disclaimer. Genius Kazuki Takahashi owns Yu-Gi-Oh!
I have to leave.
The lyrics to Wolves by Garth Brooks.
I have to leave super hard now.
And Sexy Boy by Shawn
I'm
Michaels
gone. I'm gone. Take my headphones and leave.
belong to their respective owners.
Wait,
I own.
wait. The guy who was taken down by the Undertaker in 1997 on WWE did a song called "Sexy Boy."
Yes, apparently.
I own the one-shots and the stories. I am the owner of the stories.
Ooh.
By the power of Grayskull.
Meeting Donald Trump. Lord, please shine a light of hope on those who will fall behind. And when we stumble in the snow, could you help us up while there's still time?
I don't want to rush you, God.
Well, I don't mean to be complaining, Lord. You've always seen me through. You led me to that bar and grill. I'm grateful for that to you. And I know you've got your reasons for each and everything you do. But
What's sad is I didn't realize that was a joke and not.
But tonight outside my window, there's a lonesome, mournful sound. And you just can't keep from thinking. God, got through it. About the ones the wolves pull down. Oh Lord, keep me from being the one the wolves pull down.
This is. I
Garth
cannot
Brooks.
wait to.
Those who stay away from wolves, okay?
I cannot wait to see how the hell this is going to pertain to
Yeah.
Seto Kaiba meeting Donald Trump.
Kaiba's POV.
When I think Kaiba and Donald Trump, the first thing I think of, Garth Brooks, Wolves.
So for this, since it's like first person, and since I don't know Seto Kaiba's voice, does somebody else, I guess, want to do?
Mokuba!
Tristan, I think you should.
Yes.
Tristan's made for this. He's been living for this.
I smiled coolly at Donald Trump, the 64-year-old businessman who had invited me to the Plaza Hotel in New York so we would discuss something very serious that had nothing to do with business ventures.
I'd run away from home and I was home alone in New York.
Being chased around by the wet bandits.
I wondered if I could eat my pizza backwards.
Data, get off that.
I had been to New York before with Mokuba. It was in 2001. 2001? What does it mean? A few weeks after the September 11, 2001 attacks.
2001 attacks happened on September 11th?
Yeah. I was
forgot all but one.
We only have to remember one.
Tracy,
That-
yeah, never forget. Oh my God, never forget.
I was devastated beyond belief that the terrorists would try to crush the American spirit.
Like the cigarettes? Like the brand of cigarettes?
Yes.
Okay.
How could they do that? I thought they
could
were my
they-
friends.
They wanted us all to vape.
Are you reading ahead?
How could they get up the nerve to try something like that? I then made a promise to myself that the terrorists would never try to take over our land or attack a united group of nations.
Whoa, that's okay. That's
Not
like
that
a-
they wouldn't succeed.
Any
They won't
united
try.
group of nations.
So, is America by standing alone the one the wolf pulled down? Is that what's going on?
I don't know.
The terrorists are the ones the wolves pulled down. It's the
Mhm.
No,
Mhm.
the wolves are the people torn down by the wolves are the Twin Towers.
I didn't
You
know
think
there
the
were
Twin
some
Towers are
towers.
real? Psh. The government faked the Twin Towers.
They just copied and pasted.
The one tower. Yeah, it was one tower moving back and forth really fast. So we thought
That's
there were
what's
twin
called
towers.
The Lin-Manuel Miranda effect.
Right.
Well, in the days that followed, I was also impressed with the Americans going about the rebuilding process, as well as recovering too. It
covered
was
by his
now it was now 2010, and I felt that things sure had changed.
Like the calendar year.
And in only 9 years too. And boy, was I right, at least from my perspective, which this is written from. So, Mr. Trump,
There it is.
I began as we sat across from each other in Trump Tower, feeling a little unsure about how to address him. Tracy?
Please.
Yeah.
I haven't heard him for a while. It's
Oh,
nice.
come on.
Please just call me Donald.
he
A lot
smiled.
of people are calling me Donald. A lot of people.
Feeling much better, I then asked, what is it?
What is it you want to talk to me about, Donald?
Donald then looked all businesslike.
Well,
Put on a tie.
for starters, there's this economic crisis going on. I believe you've heard about that. Oh, but you don't report it. You believe it. You believe it. I believe it. I believe it and you believe it. And you've heard about it. And everybody knows it.
I nodded. I had heard all about it. 3 years ago in 2007, there had been news reports of stocks falling in the stock market. Some people believed it was like the Great Depression all over again, what with the recession. That was their name for it, happening.
They call it
Only
the happening. I remember. Yes. You remember
Only
that?
this time, they called it the Great Recession. And it was kind of like the Great Depression of the 1930s, only this was different.
Spitfire says so Michael's references could be coming back into style.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And things do change. I should know. I've read about the Great Depression in this big book I found one day. It's called Chronicle of the 20th Century, and it was a great read. However,
Richard Scarry's Big Book of the Depression.
I believed that if the Americans could rebuild and recover their spirits in the days following 9/11, they could surely handle a crisis like this. And I still do. Of course, Donald.
Present.
What?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Did it happen in the present?
Well, the future. I mean,
Your future present.
yeah. Of course, Donald. Don't worry. I have more than enough money to support me and Mokuba, my little brother. So we're fine.
There it is, yeah.
That's good, Mr. Kaiba. Mr.
Kaiba.
Dual Monster, Tim Apple, Tim Dual Kaiba.
Said Donald.
After all, you're a businessman like myself.
That has been established.
So I know how you feel. Of course, I've been trying to store up enough money to support my family as well.
Trying to scrape it together.
One of my sons turned on the shower, and it was like drip, drip. It was just like drip, drip. And people are trying to take a shower.
We grinned at each other and then began chatting about business to take our minds off of the economic crisis.
Oh, wait.
Bad choice.
Wait. Did we start? He started off looking really businesslike. But now we're getting to the business. I'm out of here again. So.
I was starting to like Donald more and more. After all, he was right about one thing. We were both businessmen.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
And we both were storing up money to support our families. I guess I have a lot more in common with Donald than I think. Even now, as I write this.
Spitfire asks, where is Bob Executive in all this?
Yeah. My musings were interrupted when I looked up upon hearing a female voice shriek.
Dad!
Then a young woman with blonde hair and brown eyes, wearing a blue dress with small sequins, walked angrily into the room. She looked to be about 28, which she was.
I've been dated. You're verified.
I checked her birth certificate myself. She was 28.
Which, in fact,
Could only
she
find the
turned
short
out
form,
to be.
Spitfire says, so far this whole story could have been 2 paragraphs. It's just the same thing repeated over and over.
I
2
meant Donald.
paragraphs,
We are businessmen.
2
A lady
paragraphs
came in.
plus the excerpt from Wolves, okay? Let's be clear.
Right, yeah, I mean, that was necessary to... What is going on?
Data climbing on my mic.
Okay.
He's being.
She was glaring at Donald.
Tell Tiffany to stop going into my bedroom, searching through my stuff, and then reading my diary. I don't want her to spy on me.
She snapped.
She was 28.
Yeah.
And she was a horrible
And
monster.
we were both businessmen. We talked about businessmen and the economic crisis in America.
Yeah,
We
you think I
talked
should give her a
about business to
businessman
get away
voice?
from.
I felt like the American spirit would be regained one day.
Donald raised his eyebrows while I blinked, studying her. As far as I could tell, this girl was something.
Don't you dare.
And she was. She was fiery. She was witty. She had something special about her. I just had to find out what.
Money.
And this
Plastic surgery.
Tiffany, so-called. I frowned. I frowned as though deep in thought, which I was.
I'm trying to parody Masters here.
I know. I wondered, was Tiffany supposed to be her younger half-sister? Is that what you're getting at here? By calling someone Tiffany?
She is.
I mean, Tiffany, what else could it be?
Hold on. Oh, wait, I thought. She is. Silly me.
Spitfire says the something special is the reason she is 28 and still acts like a 13-year-old. Misha
Donald
says, "God,
then
this
said,
sucks."
Yeah, the special should be in quotes instead of Tiffany.
Donald then said,
Ivanka, can we talk about this later?
Oh, you never listen to me!
Ivanka hissed.
Jeez!
And with that, Ivanka flounced out of the room, leaving a trail of something sweet.
Sorry, I just had to vomit blood really quickly. Please continue.
Maybe-
He doesn't have to keep hinting. We know he wants to bang Ivanka. And
Maybe,
are we sure that it's not Donald Trump writing this?
Oh my god, it was!
maybe it was burnt molasses. Maybe that was the trail or something sweet.
Burning.
Expensive perfume? I wasn't sure. In her wake, almost knocking me over.
Nope, I've been crop dusted.
Ivanka, my middle daughter.
Donald explained, turning to me.
Some say the middleest daughter.
Then another girl appeared as though she had floated into the room. She had blue eyes set in a pretty face, and hair that was the color.
Very pretty face, okay? Very pretty.
Okay, sorry. Very pretty, very pretty. And the hair that was color of
The
sunflowers.
sunflower colored haired trainer.
Yes. She's a sunflower head, if you will.
There it is.
She was wearing a pink dress that sparkled with glitter, which instantly put me in the mind of a fairy.
All right.
In the
A
mind of
garden
fairy.
fairy, of course. Of course.
Not a dark fairy, if you will, or a light fairy.
Right.
Misha says
fairy.
Misha says she wished she'd never agreed to this. So
Yeah, it's too late
take
now,
our votes
though.
back.
This was Tiffany Trump. That one's in italics and bold.
Do it again. Do it again, but like with
This
more
was
effect.
Tiffany Trump.
I could have Tiffany Trump.
Tiffany, I asked. Tiffany Trump. She looked at me, surprised. Apparently, she didn't know I was there.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
Sir,
She asked.
who are you?
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're going full with this.
I rose from my seat in a casual, lithe motion, reached for her hand, brought it to my lips. God damn it. and placed a kiss on the back.
Like a Hershey's kiss. He just like put it gently on the back of her hand.
Now, if you can grab that without dropping it, it's yours.
That's how he was trying to get her to go away.
Yeah. I am Seto Kaiba, I replied. I was. Your father has talked about me quite often. How do you know?
I assume.
Your father tells me he talks about me all the time.
This is you.
Really?
I asked Tiffany.
I didn't know that.
I could tell by the color rising in her cheeks that she was pleased with how I was treating her. I can tell that all the juices start to swell when I'm around.
When it comes to masturbation, 12 for 6, I wear the crown.
As I then relinquished my grasp on her hand. After all, it was my little brother Mokuba who, well, kind of pulled me out of my shell and got me into being nice to women and treating them as a gentleman would.
You know, grabbing them by the pussy.
Yeah.
At first, I thought he was nuts and laughed,
At first, I thought of his nuts.
hoping that he would say he was kidding. But when he gave me that mad look I had seen once before, with his eyebrows furrowed and his eyes narrowed, I stopped laughing. I knew he was serious.
Which band's the word I want to call this author?
Yeah, Mokuba was the original nice guy. Pioneered the whole movement. Tiffany then turned to her father.
Dad,
She said,
tell Ivanka to stop teasing me. I don't want her embarrassing me.
it sounds just like her.
I know.
She then turned to me.
Especially not in front of Kaiba.
Oh, really now? I purred, feeling all animalistic, passionate, sneaky.
Do you see why I made her a small demon child? Because this is what he's hitting on. He's hitting on a small demon child.
Almost like a dragon. Hold up. Or maybe I was one. A blue eyes white dragon. Oh, Sean. I have no idea what this song
I kind of
is.
want to do this, but I want to do it as the wrestler.
Do it, yes.
Which you are.
Which you are.
Oh, Sean, I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I've got the looks that drive the girls wild. I got the moves that really move them. I send chills up and down their spines. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy.
Boy.
I'm just a sexy boy.
Sexy boy.
I'm not your boy toy.
Boy.
Why the parrot? All right, whatever. Okay. I'll make them hot. I'll make them shiver. Their knees get weak whenever I'm around. They
That
see
doesn't
me
rhyme.
walk. They hear me talk. I make them feel like they're on cloud nine. I'm just a
Okay.
sexy boy.
Sexy boy.
I'm not your boy toy.
Toy.
No, I'm just a sexy boy.
Sexy boy. Sexy boy.
I'm not your boy toy.
Toy.
Eat your heart out, girls. Hands off the merchandise.
Was that a blue eyes white dragon singing that in his head?
Yes.
Yeah.
Each
A
head had
sexy
its own
blue eyes
verse.
white dragon that is.
No.
is
Blue Eyes White Dragon
sneaky.
only has one head. Blue Eyes
Oh, that's
Ultimate
right.
Dragon
Ultimate.
has
There we
three.
go.
Oh
You
my
know
God, Kitty.
Look, you know how much I love the Yu-Gi-Oh or the whole Yu-Gi-Oh franchise. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
All right,
Just where's
Donald.
Jack
G.I.O.?
Atlas? Like without Jack Atlas, I'm lost.
Jack Atlas.
We gotta talk like this for
Jackass.
Master of faster.
Donald, wrap this up.
Say?
Kaiba,
Donald spoke up.
could you talk to Tiffany for me? I think she needs someone like you to talk to.
Oh God.
He probably read Kawaii Princess Chan's fanfic, where Kaiba was standing there majestically with 2 dual discs.
I got this idea from my friend Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, absolutely. You should go talk to this young girl. This is very well written.
I nodded. Of course, Donald.
It is true. Donald Trump would never talk to Tiffany.
Exactly. That's his daughter.
He then left, and I turned to Tiffany.
Spitfire says the money changing hands is implied.
Right.
Oh no.
He then left, and I turned to Tiffany just as I smirked.
You know what I mean?
And her eyes caught mine. Then, smiling shyly, she headed over to the balcony and placed her arms on the railing, looking up at the stars that had come out, twinkling like diamonds.
And they were.
See? Or the star. Sorry.
Tiffany! Probably both. She's in that glittery dress, so.
Yeah, could be.
Tiffany! I said, the smirk on my face now transfigured into a concerned look as I walked up behind her and placed my hands on her shoulders.
And was tackled by Secret Service.
I'll remind you that this was supposed to be a story about meeting Donald Trump and talking about business.
Yeah, businessmen who are about business.
It turned into this guy's wank fest. Like, that's all it is.
It's like, what if Seto Kaiba and Donald Trump met? Well, obviously, child sex trafficking would not be far.
I mean, he's not far off.
There it is. That's what happens.
She's
We are both
still.
businessmen.
She remains silent.
We do.
I then tried a different tactic. Something's troubling you, Tiffany, I observed. What is it? She sighed, then took a deep breath.
Mr. Kaiba.
She began. Please, I purred, rubbing her shoulders. Call me Seto. She turned to look at me. I could see fire in those cobalt orbs of hers.
Also, her eyes seem pretty lit up, too.
I would like to quote Misha, God damn it, this sucks.
Oh,
Spitfire asks, is this going to get us put on a watch list?
Yes.
And mentally congratulated myself for creating that fire in the first place.
Okay, Seto.
She then said, eager to pick back up where she had left off.
I'm worried you're going to catch these hands if you don't get the fuck off of me. Sorry, translation. I'm worried you're going to catch these hands if you don't get the fuck off of me. Please continue.
I blinked as I ran one of my hands from her shoulder down to the small of her back.
No.
Okay. How old is she, though?
Didn't they
really?
go over it up there? Like the...
Well, no, they established
Ivanka.
how old Ivanka was, but they never established Tiffany.
her
Can
half.
somebody look up her...
93, so
Yeah,
she would
she's
be
93.
17.
That makes it okay.
Yeah, she would have been 17 at the time.
Yeah.
So
Really?
that's like an Arkansas spinster.
Right, because this is 2010, right? So yeah.
All right, and
That's
now
what
how,
it said. That's
how
what it
old
said.
is Seto Kaiba?
And she was born in
I have
October.
no idea how old
so-
Seto Kaiba is, but...
Well, she was born
I
in
mean-
October, so Misha's probably
I
right.
mean,
She's
he's
16.
probably about 17 as well, I think.
A businessman?
Yes, he's a child genius.
Excuse me, Seto Kaiba's age, according to the Yugipedia, the
Please.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki, is 18. His
Okay.
height is 1.86 meters.
Okay, well, let's not get into a whole thing here.
His favorite
weight
food
is
is peach
65
cobbler.
tegagrams.
How many megagrams?
0.00002 megagrams. Okay, we're
What's his blood type, though? Says Misha.
Worried about
Yu-Gi-Oh.
what, Tiffany?
I asked as I guided her back. So he's put his
He's grooming her.
hand on the small of her back, so I imagine him guiding her back to the couch in front of the fire.
And when he starts brushing her hair, we're going to say he's grooming her.
Right.
What or who is it that you feel so worried about?
It's just the American spirit and whether it can recover after such an intense attack here.
She remained silent. Then I then reached over. That's almost an it was them. I then reached over, took one of her hands in mine, and whispered,
You could tell me, Tiffany. I'm very good at keeping secrets.
She looked at me, a bit puzzled.
Really, Seto?
She asked. I nodded.
Of course.
I then looked down at our enjoined hands and smiled.
How did that happen? We need. Ooh.
After all, you really are quite something. A fiery beauty, no doubt.
As I said the word fiery, I looked at the fire in the fireplace. Get it?
It was.
And that half-sister of yours, Ivanka. I have the sick feeling that he's going to suggest something.
Yeah.
She really intrigues
is
me just
wholesome.
as much as you do.
Really?
She asked.
Wow!
I nodded. You see, women so-called, women like you intrigue me. A fiery spirit, pride in what you do. What is it you do? And being
She's a
efficient.
teacher.
He reads other people's diaries.
Yeah,
Spitfire says it's always good to tell a girl how hot her sister is.
That's how me and Tristan got together.
Well, you lay the groundwork for having a fallback.
That's what
Right.
intrigues me as well.
That there's more that came from. I'm already staring at your sister.
I'll never forget the day Tristan looked in my eyes and
Plus-
said, "Your sister is so beautiful."
Plus, you're really quite, well, beautiful.
Tiffany bit her lower lip and finally said,
A whole bunch of words.
"Yeah, I don't know if you want."
All right, no, I'm committing.
Okay, here we go.
right.
Real quick.
Well, real quick before you do it, Spitfire says most surprising is him using the word women instead of females.
Honestly, yeah. All right.
Well, Seto, the reason I'm worried is because of the recession.
I can't.
All too often, I look at my father and how he does business, and then at his and my bank account, and feel worried. From one day to the next, I keep hoping we'll have enough money to tide us over for the next week, month, year, or even 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, Donald Trump, he's really hard up.
Can scrape some gold off the.
He's bankrupted 6 companies so far. I'm worried. We can't just keep failing upward, can we? Boring. Then she then let out a sigh of relief.
Boy, does that feel good to get out in the open.
There was a
Better out than
silence.
in, I always say.
There
Seto
was a-
said purringly.
There was a silence
I'm a businessman, you know.
as I was thinking over what she had said.
I wasn't even listening to her while she was talking to me.
I was thinking over it, yeah. Finally, the silence was broken as I said,
Tiff, you'll be okay. I've spoken to your father.
And he says that you, your half sister, and he do have been storing up enough money to get you through the hard times.
So she was talking and all that, and then he's like, I was thinking over her, and then I finally broke the silence. Like, no, it wasn't silence. She was talking.
Exactly.
To him, it was
Great.
silence.
No, because she finished, and then there was a bit of silence because he thought it over.
We're misinterpreting thinking
Yes.
over. You see,
Yes.
it's like talking over. But
I see.
Yeah, he's like,
Okay.
while I was thinking during all that silence and her lips were moving,
All
I
that
finally
noise of
broke that
silence.
silence with my handsome words.
I mean, there were
I will-
female noises, but whatever.
I decided to look back and see if Donald Trump had actually told that to Seto, and all he said was that he's been trying to store up enough money.
Yeah, I
so-
know.
So Seto's
Maybe
a liar.
Seto's
Cool.
just lying. Tiffany looked at me, and I couldn't help but notice the smile that lit up her eyes.
In each corner of her
Couldn't help but
chin.
notice you grinning at me.
Oh,
Thanks, Seto.
She finally replied. Then, with that, she gave me a hug. I was a little taken aback at first, but then returned it. After all, I secretly felt I needed it.
it was a hug
Don't
with her hands
tell.
only around my neck.
Yes.
Oh, she's hugging me.
After we broke apart, I then said, "Man, do we need to bring back that counter?"
You're welcome, Tiffany. And thanks for the hug. I needed it.
By the way, I finished.
Yep.
We then smiled at each other. Then, after we headed back to the fireplace. From where?
The other
They're
fireplace.
just heading into the fireplace?
Listen, this house has 4 fireplaces.
Donald was there in the fireplace, smiling at the both of us.
Thanks, Mr. Kaiba.
He said,
You're welcome, Donald.
I replied. Tiffany then whispered into my ear.
I'm gonna go and see if Eric wants to go shopping with me.
Oh, wait, that was the other one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm gonna go see if Eric wants to go shopping with me.
Upon noticing my puzzled look, she then explained.
Eric's my half brother. He's a pretty nice guy and kind of cool too.
No. She then left as I
Eric.
went over to where my chair was. Then Donald. Yeah, Eric Trump. That's the very same. He's
Alleged.
kind of cool.
I do
Did
not
you
agree
know?
with the author's views of Tiffany's views of Eric Trump.
I'm surprised
then
Donald
left.
Jr.
I
didn't
can
make an
comprehend
appearance.
somebody thinking that DJ TJ was cool. I can see how some people might think that, but there's nobody that thinks Eric's cool.
No.
Nope.
And not even the Trumps.
Yeah.
I don't think
They
so.
all kind of hate each other.
Does Don Jr. This is kind of an aside, but does Don Jr. feel bad that his dad named him after his penis?
Well, she says he's kind of
What-
cool,
what-
so
what
like
bigger
not being
compliment?
cool is technically like a kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go. Think about that.
She then left as I went over to where my chair was. Then Donald and I began discussing ideas for what to do about the recession.
Oh, we're businessing now.
You see, we were businessmen.
I told him that Mokuba had gotten into the habit of putting himself on a budget.
I did not know that we were going to get sound fiscal advice from this man. Thank God we're both businessmen.
And no, it didn't come from the businessman. It was Mokuba's idea.
That's
But-
true.
Which I felt was a wise idea. Donald agreed and said that his son, Donald Trump Jr., there you go, was doing a fine job budgeting his money as well.
That's
He had
why
cut
he went
down
to
his
see your
yearly
photo.
hunting of
For,
African lions down to 4.
Uh-huh.
He's practicing using stumps instead of chairs.
Yeah, Spitfire, we're about to hear Mokuba's strong opinions on avocado toast. As we talked into the evening, I felt a bond of deep understanding with Donald, as we both had businesses to run
I'm gonna vomit
and
blood.
family to take care of. Speaking of budgeting,
Is somebody
Robot?
being attacked
Who's
by a racer
buzzing?
or something?
Who's robot?
who's playing Taboo and losing?
Yeah. Read the rules.
Okay. Speaking of budgeting, if you start that habit early in life and are wise with your money, I believe that you will go far, especially when it comes to being a savvy saver
Is this like the Aesop Fable moral of the story?
Yes.
Oh my god.
and a smart spender. Signed, Seto Kaiba, CEO of Kaiba Corp.
This is Seto Kaiba's like graduation speech.
Spitfire says this was written by a financial advisor.
All you have to do to be successful is be born into a rich family, inherit $1 billion company, help your father dies, and then you're good to go. And then budget, of course.
And budget.
You gotta start the budgeting early.
Right.
I'm thinking of writing a review that says like the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein signals his approval here. So-
I'm hoping this is long abandoned because I left a review for it as well.
Hold on. Nightcrawlerlover's got something to say.
I'm really upset you didn't let me finish my review, first of all.
Yeah, they did.
Well-
Spitfire has a point. They specifically asked for flames to be sent via email.
Oh shit. All right, open up email.
Oh no!
Well, I hope you liked reading this one shot as much as I liked writing it. After all, being smart with your money and budgeting is a good habit to begin early in life. Sincerely,
Can't stress that enough.
Nightcrawlerlover.
Wow.
Anyway,
Don't do drugs.
time
I
to
just
go
thought
get
I
a
would-
gun in a dark corner, I guess.
Oh my god, these reviews are awful. They're like,
Quinn, please.
oh,
Please share with the class.
well, there's one that is
Oh,
by
no.
Rafflehead, who says Trump 2020 bitches #drain the swamp.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
599-151-941-3001. Please look, pray, and fast as much as possible. Thank you.
I like Finch
That's the code word.
Grin. Loved it. You truly captured the alluring complexity of Seto Kaiba. Personally, I felt that you explored his character more completely in this brief story than any anime or manga ever could. Ever writing. 10 out of 10.
Ever
Always
could.
felt like
Oh.
what was missing was child sex trafficking, and you really tapped into that.
Someone drew something? I drew this for you? How do we see what you drew, stranger guest?
I'm going
They
to
deleted their account. So we can't.
Oh no.
They probably got suspended. Oh, look, they came and read this on September 11th.
Oh.
So
I mean,
question.
what would this link be to? Does fanfiction have?
Like fanfiction/s? I don't
Yeah.
want to know.
I'm looking it up on a different browser, just so.
All you hip kids, what does 5991519413001 mean? Is that
Activated.
like
Oh, that's just a link to this fanfiction. What the hell?
Oh. Weird.
That's actually it's an acronym that means 51198299363.
Why do these
1, 2, 3, 4,
It's
5,
if
6,
if you turn it upside down and look at it, it reads Louis Higgs.
Okay. All right, I think we're done analyzing this one.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Nice.
let's
Can cross this off the list forever.
please.
That was the most disgusting thing I have ever heard.
Yeah, raise your hand
Yeah,
if
that
you
was
absolutely
that one
hated
was
that.
pretty rough. It was pretty rough.
I'd rather listen to 3 Chesmeralda Thunderdomes than one more, whoever this was.
Oh, would you?
Yeah.
Nightcrawler
Would you
lover.
really?
Yeah, and I have it on good authority that Chesmeralda died shortly before writing her last story. So
Nightcrawler lover.
So
Whoa.
you guys have looked at a lot of fanfic. Are there any for the Charmin Bears?
Oh.
This.
I fear
Nightcrawler
that could
Lover-
go downhill real fast.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I just want to know if there's an opening. I may
Okay.
set pen to paper.
Take it away.
Nightcrawler Lover says they've written 314 stories. Whoa.
They must be stopped.
Age.
All about Donald Trump meeting various anime characters.
Age. My little secret. Hair. Eye
Oh
color.
God.
Secret. Gender. Secret. No one's asking you. You're asking yourself and saying no comment. Oh. 2 of my favorite foods are cheese pizza and chicken strips. They're delicious, and I'm
Write
a
that down.
Christian.
Write that
As
down.
I
We
believe
finally
in the
know
Lord
something.
Jesus Christ.
Are we sure that this was not written by Tiffany Trump? Like, she just wants to bang Seto Kaiba so much.
Yeah.
And
I like
wants
that
to
at the
be in a
beginning.
story
This is
with
for
her
the
father.
ladies who like Kaiba.
So we've
She's got a Dave Lizzie
before
McGuire characters list. It's all of them.
we've read a author insert Seto Kaiba romance before this channel, and this was way worse.
Yeah.
Although
Oh.
technically the romantic interest was older because the author of that other one was 16. All right, I think we're like 20 minutes overtime here, so
Yeah.
come back next week where we'll be reading anything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to that Star Fox one, but probably we'll continue with Ultimate Betrayal.
There's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the Shadow Realm story.
Okay, well, save a link to it. All right, see you next week. It all going according to plan.
All right.